Hey Shorts, Jared Pickle. This is the last week of small groups. I know it's crazy, but we are going to be starting up summer small groups in just a little bit. So this is the last one for the school year.
Hey Shore, Cameron Wells here. Welcome to our last week of small groups. We're going to be taking a little break for the summer, but some groups will be continuing. So this is our last week of small groups.
We're here today to talk about friendships and just to not go it alone.
So this week, what we're talking about, don't go it alone. Now, when I think of don't go it alone, I think of my good friend, Jared H. Pickerel.
We were in our staff meeting talking about it, and it kind of was a unanimous vote. Everybody looked over at the Ginger Cameron and looked over at me and said, man, we would love to hear from you guys about your relationship. So I decided to start this one off with talking about how me and Cameron Wells met.
How did I meet Jared? Well, 2 years ago, first day of Thrive Leadership School orientation.
And so it was a fateful day. It was August, and it was the start of Thrive Leadership School. And I remember it. I walked in there and I didn't know anybody.
I got the honor and privilege of sitting next to Jared H. Pickerel.
And so I'm just chilling, walking around, and then I look over and I see a Ginger.
He was sitting there in his tank and his long hair, and
for those of you that know, I'm well acquainted with Gingers. I've been friends with Jeff May since I was 3 years old. So I was like, man, that's my zone right there. So I walked over to him and said, man, like, blah, blah, like, we're just talking. A lot of people's parents are there, and I was like, okay, yeah, you know, man, like, we don't want to bring any parents here, you know, it's totally fine. I was like, we're adults, I don't get why everybody's parents are. And then literally, his mom walks up right after and introduces herself and says her name is Karen, which is my mom's name, so I was like, man, love at first sight.
My first impression was, I didn't really have a first impression. It's really hard to put into words how I felt. My first interaction with Jared after orientation, I was just kind of chilling there, sitting, hanging out. We had just finished for the day, and he walks up to me. He says, hey, so if you're not doing anything later, I'm gonna go evangelize if you want to come. What?
And so we just started talking for a little while. I was like, oh man, feeling the vibe. So afterwards I texted him. I was like, hey, you want to go out and just witness to some people, make a difference in the community? And he texted me back. He's like, oh man, I'm just super busy right now. Maybe next time.
He goes, and by evangelize, I mean share the gospel with probably some homeless people. I was like, who is this guy? So I was like, sorry dude, my family's in town, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, if you want. And he pulls out his flip phone. Like, dude, it's 2013, what are you doing? He pulls out his flip phone and he's like,
and I was like thinking to myself, okay, I'll just text him next time. Little did I know that he would tell me about a year later he thought I was straight up crazy.
Here's my number if you change your mind. And I was like, all right, bro. And that was the start of a very real friendship.
So that's how me and Cameron Wells met. And it was kind of the start of something that we didn't really expect at all. We didn't expect a huge friendship. But just over the last 2 years, just getting to know this guy. And man, this thought of not going it alone has been huge in our relationship. Whether it's in the Shore, whether it's in Thrive, whether it's at Bayside or outside of Bayside, whether it's on the basketball court or with a group of friends, or just in life talking through personal things, whether it's my relationship with Hannah, his relationship with his family, or just mentoring and different things like that. It's been huge just having somebody that you can actually talk to about life. One of the key verses from me and Cameron is from 1 Samuel
18.
Every time I think about 1 Samuel 18, I think of me and Cameron. And it says this: after David had finished talking with Saul, Jonathan became one in spirit with David, and he loved him as himself.
From that day, Saul kept David with him and did not let him return home to his family. And Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as himself. Jonathan took off the robe he was wearing and gave it to David, along with his tunic and even his sword, his bow, and his belt. Pretty self-explanatory there.
And that's just me and Cameron. Man, I can't tell you how many times he just stripped down in front of me, gave me all his clothes.
Just kidding, that was weird. Don't go it alone. It's important to be with people and have a good friend. Jared and I are great friends, and we've been through a lot together.
If I was being honest about this, I would definitely be David.
I would say that I'm definitely the David, and he's definitely the Jonathan to my David. Definitely take charge and make the decisions, and I'm the emotional rock. He cries a lot.
I'm kind of more the king in the relationship. I just have a lot more going for me, and ultimately the kingdom is going to fall to me. And so David and Jonathan, he kind of takes more of the Jonathan role. And so just kind of the more nurturing of the two. Just a great lover of people. So
I'd say that I'm definitely the David in this instance. And I saw that all toil and all achievement spring from one person's envy of another. This is really the basis of our relationship.
Gosh.
He envies me.
If I was also thinking of another passage that describes Cameron and my relationship on a more serious note, it's Ecclesiastes 4, and it starts in verse 9, and it says this:
Two are better than one.
Because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. And that's just huge, man. How many times I've just fallen down, how many times I've just had a hard day, and there's somebody like Cameron there, and he's there to help me up. He's like, hey man, like, how's it going? How's this actually going in your life? Not like the typical, hey, how you doing? Oh, it's fine. But how are you actually doing right now?
Point being, there's a significant amount of importance having somebody that has your back. And it's really important to be in that brotherhood, that sisterhood, to have somebody there to support you, to challenge you, to love you, to forgive you unconditionally.
Also, if two lie down together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? We'll just keep moving on. I'm not even going to talk about that part of our relationship. Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. And I just think that's huge. Having somebody that has your back. Just throughout life, there's certain people that you know, man, like, if this guy is with me, then I'm in it for the long haul. I'm in it to win it. I'm going to go. It doesn't matter what's going to happen, what we face, what obstacles there are. I'm here to make a huge difference. And in this subject of don't go it alone, I would want to encourage you guys, find a Cameron in your life. Find a Jonathan, find a David, find a person that you ultimately say, man, this person has my back. This person's here to ultimately lead to my success. That's what Jonathan did for David. And this person, no matter what, I know I can count on them.
And so the important thing is that you just have to find that one other person to go out with you, to live life with you, to support you, to love you, with you. With is really the key. It's the important part of this equation. It's really vital to have somebody with you. And so if you don't have somebody like that in your life, I really encourage you, find that person. If you aren't that person, become that person. But the bottom line is get that person.
This summer can be a time of just complete isolation. There's no school, no jobs for a lot of you guys. And it could be just a time where you just play video games, where you just hang out and look at Pinterest, where you just do whatever you want, and you're just doing it alone. I want to encourage you, don't go it alone. Make this summer not a vacation from God, but a vacation to God. In the Bible, Jesus commands his disciples to go out in twos. And he says, hey, go out in twos. And it's not a coincidence that he says go out in twos. It's so crucial to not go through life alone, to go through life with a companion, to go through life with a friend. Genesis 2:18, one of my life verses, says this: it's not good for man to be alone. And so follow the Bible, follow God. He knows you better than you know yourself. Don't go it alone. Hey, I'm looking forward to the summer. It's going to be nuts. We have so much going on. And join a small group, get more involved with the shore, and don't go it alone this summer. Get involved with the community. Have a great day, and God bless you guys. Bye.
Love ya.
I feel so warm.
You're a good friend. Ready, go. False start, false start. We got that right.